joining me today on Voter Education. My name is Alene Lindstrand, and I have been an election observer for 5 years and doing my own personal voter education for 4. Why I have been doing that is important because a lot of people, most people that I run into, would have no way of knowing the information I'm about to share with you unless they too have been an observer down at the election office or listened to one of these presentations. We are talking about various mistakes that people make on their ballots. They're not a mistake to you. They are a mistake when the machine tries to read your ballot and cannot, and therefore it must be duplicated. This particular piece, it's a flyer that I created on my own and is delivered to thousands of homes across the county. And I want to share with you that you can go find this in writing on my website, www.aleneforauditor.com. That's ALENEFORAUDITOR.com. All that information that we're going to talk about now, plus some more, is on that page. Go to that website and click on the education page. Some of the mistakes that people have no clue that would cause their ballot to be duplicated is something like this. It's very obvious who you voted for, except to the machine that's reading your ballot. This little tail that comes down almost touching, it could touch, go into it, but even this much, halfway or more, even though this is clear who you voted for, will have to be duplicated because the machine will look like you voted twice. Another common error that people make, now this isn't going to require duplication, this is who you've clearly voted for to most people. But again, we're talking about a machine that will be reading your ballot. So this here, where you've started around to completely and changed your mind, without completely crossing it out with the line that the instructions tell you to do, the machine will look like you voted twice. This means that this particular item that you voted for, it won't count because you voted twice. That's what that looks like. The next one is a different type of mistake we call stray marks. You can have different stray marks in different parts, dots, dashes, it doesn't matter. The most important one that I just want you to be aware of is not to have stray marks, but in the center of an oval. I know how most of these probably happen. You've got your pen right on your paper and you're thinking about, do I really want to vote for this or that? And it leaves a mark. Some types of ink have little strings, they're very wet and stringy, and those get picked up by the light technology that the tabulator uses to read your ballot. And this little dot looks like a vote oftentimes to the machine and will require duplication. The other type of error is where you've completely covered in the oval except you run out of gas and you leave a little white spot. There is a name for that. We call it a donut hole. And a donut hole, we have no idea how big does it need to be before the machine doesn't catch it. Or how small does it need to be before the machine looks like it's a vote. But if it's too big, the machine will say they have not voted on that one. I'm telling you the truth. I've watched it. And the next one, I can prove what you need to do to ensure your vote counts the way you intend. Here's your vote, your oval vote, and the election workers, when they're duplicating a ballot, take a big old fat felt pen and go slash. Oh, well, they haven't completely covered in the oval, and they've gone outside the edges just a little bit. Because it's all one piece, these are not considered by the machine as stray marks. It's not stray, it's all one piece, and you really don't have to completely cover in because there's no donut hole. And it's the center that you need to make sure is completely covered for the machine to catch it. If you do make a mistake, there's a couple things I'd like to suggest. One is do what the instructions say, is completely line out the one that you've made a mistake on or has stray marks. Or you can call the office and get a replacement ballot. There's a number of those two things you can do. Some of it takes a little time. If you expect it to be mailed to you, you can go down to the office and request one also. But that's how to handle it. I want you to be aware of it. If you're not aware of it, then we can't cut down on the duplication process. Let me briefly describe what that is. Duplication is exactly what it sounds like. The election workers look at these ballots, they see some of these errors that we've discussed, They know the machine can't read it. It's very clear how you voted, and so therefore they get a brand new unvoted ballot, and they completely remake that ballot. And this is the method. Sometimes it ends up with a really particular edge of a felt pen covering all of it, but the center part is what is most important, and that's what I want to stress with you, because taxpayers pay for the expense and the time included in doing all that duplication. In 2010, almost 25,000 ballots were duplicated. It's a good thing to think that we can reduce that. A couple other things that you'll see on my website if you want to go there to get more and have it in writing is gel ink, not good to use. Glitter ink, definitely not good to use. It gets caught in the machinery. It can mess up the few ballots behind it as it's running through. Anything that has residue on it, anything that all that can be sticky, it messes up the machine and the ballot. And the other things that you don't want to do is too wrinkly. Sitting on a ballot, driving over with your car because you dropped it and you end up mailing it, that ballot will definitely have to be duplicated. Anything wet, pasta stains, coffee stains, juice stains, food, anything like that within that reader area of the light technology will cause that ballot to be duplicated. There's a number of other things. Go to my website, www.aleneforauditor.com. This last slide, a lot of people want to talk and want to learn about voter fraud. Well, there's two kinds of fraud. There's voter fraud that is perpetuated by the person themselves who's voting, or there is election fraud that happens within an office environment at the election office itself. These sites here are the ones that you would want to check out. I'm not going to talk about that. That's not the purpose of today. The purpose of today is to give you a basis of how to take care of your ballot so that it does not have to be duplicated. And I've proved how to ensure that is by that, making sure the center of your oval is completely filled in. My name is Alene Lindstrand. Please go to www.aleneforauditor.com and check it out. Thank you for joining us for Voter Education today.